3,000 years ago, a priest in ancient China carved a tiny picture of the sun into a turtle shell. Today, that exact character is sitting in your Japanese textbook.
Wait, the kanji I am learning right now are 3,000 years old?
That old. And the story of how they reached you is wilder than you think. This is the story of kanji.
Okay, so where does writing in China even begin?
With a mystery. In 1899, a scholar named Wang Yirong fell ill, and his medicine contained something strange. Ground-up dragon bones. Before they were crushed, he noticed markings on them, ancient symbols. Those bones were ox bones and turtle shells, over 3,000 years old, carrying the earliest known Chinese writing. Kings of the Shang dynasty used them to ask the gods questions. Will the harvest be good? Will the queen have a son? Priests carved the questions, heated the bones until they cracked, and read the answers in the cracks.
So, writing in China began as a conversation with heaven.
Beautifully put. And those carved questions are the direct ancestors of every kanji you will ever learn.
But those carvings look nothing like the kanji I study. What happened?
3,000 years happened. The word for horse began as an actual drawing of a horse, with a mane, 4 legs, and a tail. On bronze vessels it grew more stylized. When the first emperor unified China, he standardized writing into the elegant seal script. Han dynasty clerks, writing fast with brushes, flattened it into clerical script, and it finally settled into the regular script.
There are thousands of kanji though. Did someone really draw a picture for every single word?
No, and that is the genius part. They combined. 1 tree is a tree, 2 trees make a woods, 3 trees make a forest. Put the sun and the moon together and you get bright. A woman with a child means to like or to love. Then came the real breakthrough, pairing a meaning clue with a sound clue inside one character. About 80% of all kanji are built that way. Kanji is not 10,000 random pictures. It is a small set of parts, endlessly recombined.
So, if I learn the parts, the characters start explaining themselves.
Exactly.
And how did all of this reach Japan?
By ship, around the 5th century, Japan had a rich spoken language and no writing at all. No books, no letters, no recorded history. Then scholars from the Korean kingdom of Baekje, traditionally a man named Wani, brought Chinese books to the Japanese court. Imagine seeing writing for the very first time in your life. Thoughts frozen on paper that could travel and outlive the speaker. The Japanese elite were captivated, and they adopted the system. But there was one enormous problem.
Let me guess. Japanese and Chinese are completely different languages.
Completely. Different sounds, different grammar, different word order. Forcing Japanese into Chinese characters was like writing English using only Egyptian hieroglyphs. So the Japanese improvised. They used kanji purely for their sounds, 1 character per syllable, ignoring the meanings. That system is called Hiragana. It worked, but a single short poem needed dozens of complex characters. Painfully slow.
Is that where Hiragana comes from?
It is. In the elegant world of the Heian court, writers began shortening those sound characters. Court women, who were often excluded from formal Chinese education, developed a flowing, simplified style. The character for peace melted into the hiragana a. With it, women like Murasaki Shikibu wrote The Tale of Genji, arguably the world's first novel. Meanwhile, Buddhist monks, cramming notes between lines of scripture, took sharp fragments of characters instead. That became katakana.
So all 3 Japanese scripts come from the same root.
1 root, 3 tools. Kanji for meaning, hiragana for grammar, katakana for foreign words. And that system is exactly what you are learning today.
Here is what drives me crazy though. Why does one kanji have so many different readings?
Blame history. When the character for mountain arrived from China, Japan kept the Chinese-style pronunciation, san. But Japan already had its own word for mountain, yama. So the character got both. The Chinese-style reading, onyomi, shows up in compound words, like Fuji-san. The native reading, kunyomi, stands alone, yama. Some kanji collected even more readings, because they arrived from China several times, centuries apart, from different regions. Every reading is a fossil of a moment in history. Annoying, yes. Random, no.
Did Japan ever invent kanji of its own?
Hundreds of them. They are called kokuji. Mountain plus up plus down makes a mountain pass. Person plus move makes the verb to work. Fire plus field makes a cultivated field. Some of them even traveled back into Chinese. The student had become a creator.
How many kanji exist in total? Tens of thousands, right? That sounds terrifying.
It would be, but in 1946, Japan drew a line, an official list of characters for daily life, with many of the complicated ones simplified. Today that list, the Joyo kanji, holds 2,136 characters. And here's what that number buys you. With those, you can read almost anything printed in Japan.
So how does a Japanese child actually learn them all?
Step by step, over 6 years of elementary school, 1,026 characters, the Kyoiku kanji, in a fixed order. First graders start with just 80, the simplest pictures: sun, moon, tree, mountain, river. Every child fills notebook after notebook of practice squares, writing each character again and again, until the stroke order lives in the hand, not the head. Small kanji tests almost every week. Mistakes are normal and expected. You write the character 10 more times and move on. By the end of 6th grade, a 12-year-old reads the newspaper.
Not because of talent.
Because of one small, repeated daily habit.
Do adults keep studying kanji too?
Millions of them. Japan has a national kanji exam called the Kanji Kentei. The top level demands roughly 6,000 characters, so difficult that in some years almost nobody passes. Grandparents, students, office workers, all training. In Japan, kanji is not just literacy, it is a lifelong sport.
Honestly though, why keep kanji at all? Kana can spell every word.
Here is the secret. Japanese overflows with words that sound exactly the same. Spoken, context saves you. Written in plain kana, sentences collapse into guesswork. Kanji makes each meaning instantly visible. And since Japanese uses no spaces between words, kanji also shows you where words begin and end. A skilled reader does not sound out a Japanese sentence. They see its meaning, almost like reading pictures.
Which is what kanji was from the very beginning.
So, the next time you study a kanji, remember what you are holding. A drawing scratched into bone 3,000 years ago, polished by Chinese scribes, carried across the sea, reshaped by Japanese poets, and drilled by generations of schoolchildren, finally arriving in your hands.
And all I need is what those first graders have.
One character every single day. That is what this channel is for. One kanji a day. See you tomorrow.